Shut up and sit down.
Hello, my friend. You are listening to the Dance Studio Scaled podcast, the number one place for innovative marketing, retention strategies, and business growth ideas made just for dance studio owners. Now, this isn't your average business podcast. We're here to shake things up, simplify the hustle, and focus on real, actionable insights. I'm your host, Jen Dalton, and after 30 years of running studios, coaching owners, and scaling businesses, I know one thing's for sure. There's no one size fits all in this industry. You've got the passion and I've got the tools to help you take it to the next level. So hit that subscribe button, grab a coffee, and let's scale your studio together. So most studio owners think that growth is about getting more students. But what if the real reason you're stuck has nothing to do with the enrollments? Today, I'm going to be talking about the real reason that studios stall and how to fix it. So let me ask you something. What do you think is stopping your studio from growing? Now, if you are like most studio owners, your first instinct is probably to say, I just need more students. And I get it. I totally get it. More enrollments seem like the obvious answer to bigger revenue. It feels like it's the way for more impact and, of course, that thriving business model. But what if I told you that's actually not the thing holding you back? Now, the truth is, I've worked with so many studio owners who are incredible at what they do. They are passionate, they love their students, they are willing to put in the hard work. But despite that, they still feel stuck. And it's not because they aren't good at their job. It's because it's not because they don't work hard, it's because they're missing just one key thing that makes all the difference. So today we're going to dive into what's actually holding your studio back, because once you understand this, then everything changes. You'll finally see why more students alone won't just solve that problem and how to shift your focus so that growth actually feels good and not exhausting. And of course, if you are ready to take this even further, we are going to be tackling this inside the growth room, which is happening this coming Monday, the 3rd of March, if you are listening in real time. And it's going to be an opportunity where I will be helping studio owners to build businesses that I say can actually run without them. But what it really does, it allows you to put yourself and do what you want in the business. So instead of, having to do the mundane things that you don't want to do, whatever that looks like for you, if we put in these systems in place, then you can just do what you want. All right, so let's start with the common belief that growth equals more students. Now, it makes sense, right? More students equals more revenue equals success. But here's the catch. If your business isn't set up to handle growth, then more students won't fix that. In fact, it's actually just going to add more stress and more work. So if you think about it like this, so imagine your studio is a bucket, and if that bucket has holes in it and you keep pouring in more water, so there are your students, what actually happens? The water just leaks out. That's exactly what happens when studios focus only on bringing in more students without fixing what's happening behind the scenes. And the result of this is you work harder, but you don't feel like you're actually getting ahead. Your admin workload skyrockets, making you feel like you're always behind. And your retention suffers because your studio isn't built to sustain that long-term growth. And this is why I always say growth isn't just about getting more students. It's about keeping them and managing your business or your studio in a way that doesn't burn you out. So, for example, I worked with a studio owner fairly recently who had been running her business for years but felt really stuck. She was doing all the right things. She was running ads, posting on social media, and pushing enrollments. And it worked. She saw a boost in new students. But instead of feeling relieved, it actually started to make her feel overwhelmed because more students meant more admin and more scheduling issues and more parent emails. and essentially more pressure on her. She wasn't running a business, she was actually just running herself into the ground. And that's when she realized the thing holding her back wasn't the marketing, it wasn't the competition, it wasn't the pricing. It was just the fact that her business wasn't built in a way to scale. So, what is actually holding your studio back? I'm going to guess that it is not a lack of students, it's not a lack of passion, and it's not a lack of effort, but it's just the way that your business is structured behind the scenes. But here's the thing, without the right systems, without leadership and structure, no amount of enrollments will make your business run smoother. And the most successful studio owners aren't just focusing on getting more students, they're focusing on what happens after a student joins. They have systems to keep everything running efficiently. They automate and delegate so they're not drowning in the admin. And they build a team that supports their vision instead of relying on them to do everything. They don't just work harder, they're working smarter, which I'm sure you've heard that before. So let's just talk about those top mistakes that I keep seeing studio owners stuck. It will keep studio owners stuck in that survival mode. So the first thing is just wearing all the hats. Now, if everything still runs through you, you are the reason things aren't able to grow. You're essentially like the bottleneck of your business. They have no systems. So if your business can't run smoothly without you, then it's not scalable. And a lack of team leadership. So if you're still making every decision, then you are maxing yourself out completely. So what's the solution? The first thing I want to say is this is stuff that you're not expected to know. This is, a lot of us go into owning a studio because we've danced all our lives, we've been on stage, we've choreographed, we have that passion behind us. So we can do that stuff. That stuff comes pretty naturally to most studio owners, which is beautiful. But let's just talk about the shift that changes everything when it comes to being able to effectively share that passion, share your love. Because if you want to scale without feeling overwhelmed, you need to make one critical shift. You need to stop thinking like a studio owner and start thinking like a business owner. And so this means you have to move from doing everything yourself to being able to delegate effectively. It means you need to move from putting out the fires to building proactive systems. And it means you need to move from being reactive to thinking strategically about the future. And this is what I call the CEO shift. So it's the moment when you stop being inside the business every second and start building a structure that allows the growth to happen without you or having to do more. And when you make this shift, that's when everything can change. Your business starts to feel easier, your team starts stepping up, and you actually enjoy running your studio again. And this also just allows for more creativity. It allows for the fun, for you to just be focusing on themes and choreo and music. It frees up that mental space and frees up your time, which ultimately, this is what most of us want when we're running a dance studio. And I know there are some exceptions. I know there are some people that just thrive off the business side, which is beautiful, and I'm here for you as well. But majority, it's about that creativity side. So how do we fix it? Here are 3 things that need to be in place for your studio to grow without the chaos. So the first thing that I just spoke about is that CEO shift. So moving from doing it all to really leading with intention. The second thing is the scaling formula. Now, these are the systems and automations that you will essentially create the freedom in your business. And the third piece is leadership leverage. So you need to be leading from the top. You need to be delegating correctly so that you're not stopping the growth. And this is exactly what's going to be covered in the growth room, because when these 3 things work together, that's when you actually get the freedom. That freedom for that time and the space for the creativity. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, that's me, I am stuck because my business isn't set up to grow, then here's what you need to do next. Step 1 is do an audit. So have a look at what you are doing. Where are you stopping the growth in your studio? Step 2 is just to identify 3 things that you can just stop doing now and delegate. And then step 3 is to join me in the growth room, because this is where we're going to start the process for you to build your studio that can essentially run without you, but will allow you to then put yourself where you want to be in your business. So right now, applications to join the growth room are open, but spaces are limited. So if you are ready to finally break through that ceiling and create a studio that actually supports your life and not just takes over, then this is your next step. So I'm going to leave the link to the show in the show notes, or you can simply DM me the word growth and I will send you the link. It's that easy. So that's it for today's episode. If this has resonated with you, please share it. If you can share on Instagram and tag me, I love hearing what hits home for you. And also, if there are other people in a similar situation, you've got your business besties, you've got other friends in the same situation, then let's share the love, because I don't believe in competing with each other. I believe together we can all have great success. So hopefully I will see you in the growth room this Monday, and back on the air next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Dance Studio Scaled podcast. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other studio owners who would love it too. And let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at Jen Dalton for more tips, insights, and behind-the-scenes moments to help you simplify and scale your studio. Until next time, keep dreaming big and taking action. I'll see you back here soon.